The Pentagon just spent more on software and IT than NASA's entire annual budget. We're talking $58.5 billion in 2024 alone. But here's what's really wild. They're completely transforming how they build and buy that software.
That's such a dramatic shift from their old approach. I mean, naming a military program after Star Wars? Kessel Run really shows how far they've come.
Well, you know what's fascinating about Kessel Run? It actually started as this kind of rebel experiment. Some frustrated Air Force tech people basically went rogue because they were so fed up with how slow everything was moving.
And the results were pretty incredible, right? Going from years-long deployment cycles to just weeks?
Exactly. And now, every branch wants their own version. The Army's got their software factory in Austin, the Navy's running Black Pearl, and they've even created this department-wide initiative called Platform One that lets teams write code once, deploy everywhere.
So what really pushed them to make such a dramatic change?
You know, it was actually a combination of things. There was this fascinating legal battle where Palantir, a Silicon Valley company, took the Army to court because they wanted to build something from scratch when Palantir already had a solution.
Oh, wow. And that lawsuit actually worked? That must have been a real wake-up call for the Pentagon.
It really was. And now look at the numbers. Through their Defense Innovation Unit, 88% of awards are going to non-traditional vendors, and get this, 68% to small businesses. That's a complete reversal from the old days.
Though I imagine breaking into the defense market isn't exactly easy for smaller tech companies.
Well, that's where it gets interesting. They've created these special contracting tools called Other Transaction Agreements, basically shortcuts around all the usual government red tape, and they've set up these APEX accelerators to help smaller companies navigate the process.
The investment is pretty serious, too. $2.3 billion just for cloud and software modernization initiatives in 2024.
Right? And here's what's really clever. They're encouraging partnerships between traditional defense contractors and smaller software companies. It's like they're trying to get the best of both worlds.
But with all this emphasis on speed, how do they handle security? That has to be a huge concern.
So they've actually built this thing called DevSecOps, basically baking security directly into the development process. They've even created these continuous ATO processes so they can deploy updates quickly without months of security recertification.
It's almost like watching a massive corporate digital transformation, just with national security at stake instead of profits.
And you know what's really driving all this? They've realized that military advantage in the 21st century isn't just about having the best hardware anymore. Like every weapon system, every communications platform, every logistics operation. It all depends on software now.
Well, that certainly explains why they're pushing so hard to change their culture.
Exactly. And they're actually institutionalizing these changes through formal policies now. Under their new software acquisition pathway, if you can't show working software within 1 year, you're probably not getting funded.
Looking ahead, do you think this transformation will stick? Or will they drift back to their old ways?
Given the pace of technological change and global competition, I don't see how they could go back. When you can cut deployment times from years to weeks and address security vulnerabilities in real time, it's pretty hard to justify the old approach.
That really challenges our traditional image of the military, doesn't it?
You know, that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. We're literally watching the Pentagon transform from this slow-moving bureaucracy into an organization that's running software factories and hosting hackathons. The future of warfare is as much about code as it is about combat.